We begin with breaking news at 4. UNC Chapel Hill is moving all undergrad students to remote learning starting on Wednesday. The school reported 4 coronavirus clusters in the first week since students returned to campus. The school says there are 135 new positive cases on campus this week. And now we're seeing video out reportedly showing students at a party on a slip and slide playing volleyball and gathering in large groups over the weekend. Not many in that video are seen wearing a face covering. A 4th cluster was reported at UNC after the incident on Saturday. Now a cluster is defined by 5 or more cases in a single building. One student told our news partners that he is moving back home for his personal safety, and a member of the faculty chair wrote 2 letters to the chairman and UNC Board of Governors asking for more campus authority regarding the school's response to the pandemic. The school says they anticipate that students will change their living situations to fit the new rules. Again, remote learning starts on Wednesday. Welcome to your 4 to 5 on this Monday afternoon. I'm Maddie Gardner, joined by Tahisha Moise and Christian Morgan. Of course, we are an interactive show. We like to chat with you on our live streams on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter. Well, let's take a look at our top 3 stories today. A glitchy start for North Carolina students on the first day back to school after the NC Ed cloud went down this morning. That portal operates systems for remote learning like Canvas. Everything is now back up and running, and we will have more on this story coming up at 5. Some Randolph County students returned to school buildings today. The school system is operating under Plan B, with half of students learning remote and half in classrooms. Students and teachers wore masks in those classrooms at Grace Chapel Elementary, and desks were spaced out to enforce social distancing. Meanwhile, in Rockingham County, schools are doing what they can to make sure students have internet access. They're now partnering with the county, and libraries are offering a place for students to get online. We'll tell you what you need to know if you need internet coming up.
Also, some Randolph County students are back in the building. Students are now on an AB day schedule, and when students aren't in school buildings, they will be learning remotely. Students and faculty in buildings must wear masks, and student desks are spaced apart to social distance. Now, anyone in the Rockingham County School District who needs internet can get help. The school is partnering with the county government to offer some internet for students that are taking remote classes. Now, those public libraries in the county will be opening up at designated times for anyone needing internet. So here's what you need to know. Students can go to those buildings Monday through Friday. It's 2 to 9 p.m., but you do have to make an appointment before arriving. The branches participating include Eden, Reedsville, Madison, Mayodan, and Stoneville. Can only access internet, though, when inside the building. Inside the library, books, magazines, and other library materials will not be accessible. Now, the Rockingham County Bookmobile that provides Wi-Fi will also be parking in Walmart parking lots from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. Tuesdays at the Eden Walmart, Wednesdays at the Reedsville Walmart, and Thursdays at the Mayodan Walmart.
Students are back in class at Mount Airy City Schools.
It just feels right to have the students and the staff back in the building. We have about 75% of our staff who've chosen to come face-to-face and 25% that are doing one of our 4 virtual options. So we feel pretty good about the first day so far.
Dr. Kim Morrison is the superintendent of the district. She says she's happy to be one of the few Triad school districts to resume in-person learning on the first day. The district has 1,700 kids, with more than 1,200 returning to school buildings today.
The safest place for the children to be will be in the school buildings, because we have those masks on and the social distancing. And if you go to the park or the churches or the playgrounds or the gathering spaces, you don't always see that, but we can guarantee it in our school buildings.
Mount Airy City Schools requires everyone to wear a mask, and they will have students take breaks so they can take those masks off. The district is splitting larger classes into separate rooms, and Dr. Morrison says they've stepped up their cleaning. Parents have to sign off on a health check each morning, and staff is taking every student's temperature when they arrive. It's for those reasons, Dr. Morrison says, more parents are sending their kids to Mount Airy City Schools.
We've gained probably 75 because we're going face to face. We have a lot of people who've chosen For instance, our kindergarten is almost 25% larger than normal because everybody really wants K-1, 2 to go back face to face. They trust us. The public really trusts us that we can do it safely. And so we have gained quite a few students.
Now, Dr. Morrison says in order to keep kids in the classroom this year, they need the community to stay healthy and keep the number of cases low. Coming up at 5 o'clock, the biggest challenge the district says they're facing when it comes to reopening during the pandemic and the first day back in Mount Airy from a teacher's point of view. Well, this Friday, the High Point Police Department is hosting Pack with Pals. It's an event and a school supply drive at Moorhead Recreation Center on Price Street. The department adopted 2 schools, Kirkman Park and Oakview Elementary, for the year. They're setting up a drive-through for school supply donations from 4 until 7. Again, that is this Friday.
All of our back to school information is on our website. All you have to do is go to the Back to School tab at the top. You can find this section also on our free News 2 app, or you can text us. Just text the word school to 336-379-5775, and we'll link you to all the information you are seeking. Now remember, this is a texting line, so please do not call.
And taking a look outside weather-wise, for the most part it's been a dry day, but I am tracking a thin line of showers and thunderstorms moving through with a front that's coming through our area, and you can see that on radar now. Places like Greensboro, High Point, up into Rockingham County are getting parts of that line of showers and thunderstorms. Really kind of solidified as it moved through the foothills and now into our area. Things are improving though in Greensboro and will be improving soon in High Point. Places like Surrey County, Stokes County, Forsyth County, Yadkin County, those places are in the clear now. And I don't expect this to be a washout evening. Once this line is past us, things will go back to being dry for the rest of the evening and heading into your Tuesday. And if you look on the radar, really we're the only place that's got a little bit of rain right now, but you can clearly see where that front is coming through, and behind that front, what we've all been rooting for, that drier, less humid air will start to take effect tonight, and it'll really feel pleasant tomorrow. You can also see where that rain is taking a toll on temperatures in the upper 60s to near 70 across the Triad. Tonight, it'll be pleasant, partly cloudy skies in the mid-60s for your overnight lows. Your Tuesday, it's a nice, pleasant day of weather, less humid, and afternoon highs in the mid-80s. Coming up, take a look at your full 7-day forecast.
Let's turn now to your 4 to 5 roundup. The Democratic National Convention is happening this week. It was supposed to be in Milwaukee this year, but will be virtual because of the pandemic. 8 hours of primetime programming will be split over 4 days. It will be broadcast and streamed online each night from 9 until 11. Tonight, former First Lady Michelle Obama, Senator Bernie Sanders, and others will speak, notably former Ohio Governor John Kasich, who sought the Republican presidential nomination 4 years ago. Tonight, we are expected to learn the results of a people's referendum vote on the Confederate monument in front of the courthouse in Graham. A few Alamance County groups came together to see how the public feels about the monument and a controversial ICE program, 287G. Ballot boxes were spread throughout the county on Saturday, asking voters if they support removing the Confederate monument from the courthouse and if they support repealing the 287G program. The results will be presented at the county commissioners meeting. The governor of Georgia is now allowing local governments to enact mask mandates with some limits. You'll remember he made headlines after suing the city of Atlanta when the mayor there put a mask mandate in place. However, these new mandates can't result in fines, fees, or penalties against a private business, and fines against a person can't be more than $50. Additionally, the governor's order says that any local governments who choose to set a mask mandate should warn people who don't comply about the health risk of not wearing a mask before they issue a citation. A former NFL running back and business consultant is now the president of the Washington football team. Jason Wright is the league's first black president of an NFL team. Wright spent 7 years as a running back with the NFL with stops in San Francisco, Atlanta, Cleveland, and Arizona. He will be responsible for leading the organization's business divisions, including operations, finance, sales, and marketing.
The USPS says it will stop removing mailboxes in some states until after the election. This after dozens of mailboxes were removed in the western states. Now, mailboxes were also reportedly moved in some eastern states. Now, the USPS claims that those letter boxes moved frequently, and it just depended on the mail volume in those areas. Meantime, protesters gathered outside the U.S. Postmaster General's home, Louis DeJoy, in Greensboro yesterday. Montana Democratic Senator John Tester wrote a letter to DeJoy on Friday demanding an explanation, or said DeJoy could answer under oath before the Senate committee. In the meantime, the USPS is warning 46 states and Washington, D.C. that mail-in ballots for the November election may not arrive on time for the vote to count, this including here in North Carolina. The Postal Services says that the election rules do not fit the time frame needed for delivery and return of absentee ballots through the mail. Mail-in voting, of course, getting a lot more attention amid the pandemic. The USPS warned states of the issue back in July and say they are part of cost-cutting measures.
But the Postal Service does have some recommendations for casting your absentee ballot this election. They say mail-in ballots are due a full week before you need to get them in the mailbox. Otherwise, they can't guarantee your ballot will make it on time. But you don't actually have to mail in an absentee ballot. You can drop it off in person. You just need to request an absentee ballot before the election, and you don't need a special reason here in North Carolina, but you do have to fill out a request form. The deadline to request an absentee ballot is October 27th at 5 p.m. Absentee voters need one witness to confirm that they are voting for the November election, and you need to submit that ballot before 5 p.m. on Election Day for it to be counted. Now, if the ballot is mailed to the County Board of Elections and arrives by the third day after the election, it will still be accepted as long as it's postmarked on or before Election Day.
Guilford County School Superintendent Dr. Sharon Contreras is answering questions about the start of the school year. She's joined by the Chief Academic Officer and Chief Operations Officer. Let's listen in.
And it's going to take time and practice for every teacher in every single classroom. Just yesterday, we were flying high when some of our teachers' work from this summer was highlighted by former U.S. Secretary of Education Arne Duncan on CNN. Mr. Duncan applauded GCS for sharing many of its most effective teachers with all students through videotaped lessons, using a teacher-developed social and emotional learning lesson as an example. Then this morning, we discovered that students and staff couldn't access any of these wonderful lessons because the state portal wasn't working. But as I said, we sprang into action looking for a workaround. Thank you for helping to spread the word to our parents and families. We appreciate you so much. The rest of the day went smoothly, and we have some important updates for our students and their families. One, you do not need a GCS device to log into Canvas. We understand there's some confusion about that. Our learning management system is Canvas, and we have other GCS resources, but it does not require the use of a GCS laptop, iPad, or device. You can access it from any device that is connected to the internet. We have ordered more than 79,000 tablets for students and staff because we want everyone to have access to one that meets the same standards for remote learning. However, please use what you have, as our device orders are backlogged nationwide. If you truly do not have anything to use, please contact your child's school. Currently, we are focusing on supplying new devices to kindergartners and first graders and newly enrolled students who do not have any kind of access at home. So we are distributing those right now. We are also planning to open 13 learning centers across the county on August 31st, and we'll be providing more information to parents about those learning centers and how to enroll in those learning centers. They are being open for families without any access to broadband connectivity. Those centers will be held at Reedy Fork, Eastern Guilford Middle School, Sedalia Elementary, McLeansville Elementary, Northeast Guilford High School, Southwest Guilford High School, Southeast Guilford Middle School, Washington Montessori, Parkview Elementary, Jackson Middle School, Cone Elementary School, Wiley Elementary School, and Andrews High School. We also intend to deploy 125 smart buses where students can sit in the proximity of those buses and access the internet. Right now, those buses will be deployed to the Smith Homes, Ray Warren Homes, Hampton Homes, Claremont Homes, Partnership Village, Glen Haven Center, and in High Point, J.C. Morgan and H.P. Stout, J.P. Morgan Carson and H.P. Stout. And we intend to work with the principals and families to hear other locations where we should be deploying those buses. If you need help logging onto Canvas, please check out the directions on our website. If that doesn't work, call your child's school. We'll be more than happy to help. If you need to update your contact information, look for an email or text message from the district with instructions for creating a SchoolMint account so you can update your information online. We no longer use paper forms. You must go into SchoolMint to update your contact information. Information and directions about this are also posted on our Reconnect, Reopen, Stay Safe website, www.gcsnc.com/reopening. If you are homeschooling your children and would like access to GCS resources and several courses, you may enroll in remote learning part-time via your one of our 2 new virtual schools, K-5 and 6-8, or through your assigned home high school. Students must enroll for at least half-day, 2 courses for block high schools, or 3 to 4 for traditional high schools, to access GCS courses and resources, or to be eligible for sports and co-curricular activities. Other rules apply. For more information, please see our Reopen website or call student assignment, but we certainly invite homeschool students to take GCS courses. We'd love to have you join us. We will continue to distribute student meals, lunch and breakfast for the following days at all grab-and-go locations from 11 a.m. to noon daily through August 31st. This includes 41 schools and 65 neighborhood locations. Go to the Reopen website for a map and for details about the food service program through August 31st. These locations will change on September 1st, and we will share more information with you as it gets closer to that date. We've heard rumors and received at least one news inquiry asking whether we have laid off any teachers. This information is simply a rumor and is absolutely false. As we do every school year, we adjust teacher allotments at schools so those who are gaining more students than anticipated have enough teachers. With 2 new schools opening virtually today, we may experience more movement than usual, just as we do when new schools open in a physical location. Regarding other staffing news, we are still seeking employment opportunities.
You've been watching Guilford County School Superintendent Dr. Sharon Contreras address the start of the school year, and one thing she mentioned is that students do not need a GCS device in order to access Canvas. Another important thing to note, she said 79,000 devices will be ordered for those who do not have access to the internet. Now you can continue watching what Dr. Sharon Contreras has to say on our YouTube stream. Just search WFMY News 2. We'll be right back.
All right, I am talking about the snafu. How can you keep your kids motivated and not as anxious since online learning didn't go up?
Welcome back to your 4 to 5. As if going back to school in the middle of a pandemic was not stressful enough, this morning virtual learning was temporarily shut down because of a statewide technology glitch that didn't let students log on to the Canvas learning platform. Now, this glitch had many parents and students feeling left. We were having a bit of an audio issue there, but as I was saying, this glitch can make many students and parents feel like they're in limbo, maybe disappointed and discouraged. So as you saw, Blanca Cobb is joining us today on the 4 to 5 to talk about some ways to deal with those feelings, but still keep students motivated. So Blanca, let's start off here with what's the first step in helping kids stay focused this year?
Staying positive. Look, there are going to be glitches, whether it's the first day or the last day or in the middle of the school year. But parents staying positive and saying, hey, this is temporary, it's a little snag, they're going to fix it, then you're going to jump right on and start your virtual learning. But the deal is this, it's the first day of school. So for a lot of kids, they really don't know what to expect or what it's going to look like. Even when we don't have the coronavirus going on, kids are already anxious. But school is going to look very different this year. One thing to be careful is that some children might generalize and say, okay, that's it. That means a whole school year is going to be like this. Can you believe it? So some might get a little more negative, and that's where parents really need to reel them in and just focus like this is happening right now in the moment. It's not a prediction of what's going to come.
Good advice there. I mean, K through 12 schools, you think about kindergartners all the way to high school seniors, the different ranges of emotions. For younger kids, Blanca, I imagine they might feel confused and really get annoyed over a glitch like this. So how can parents help their younger children stay on task?
Staying positive and saying while they're fixing it, and I know this really puts a lot of pressure on parents when they're trying to juggle their own work and balancing their children's virtual learning, but take a moment and saying, look, this has happened, they're going to fix it, but in the meantime, let's stay focused on something that is fun but still keeps their mind on this educational track. So whether it's reading a book, it's drawing, it's building or creating something that's more on that educational track, so that way their mind doesn't wander too much away into like playing or distraction, because then it could be harder for some kids to jump back right in and say, okay, the glitch is fixed, now it's time to log on.
Yeah, thank you so much, Blanca. Always great to see you and to have you helping us navigate those glitches. We'll see you on the other side of this break. And welcome back. Well, kids across the Triad went back to school today, both virtually and in person. So how'd it go? I asked you on my Facebook page. Let's take a look at what you had to say this afternoon. Armando Escobar said ours went as good as to be expected. It's not fair to assume there wouldn't be hiccups. It's going to happen. So just be understanding and have some patience. We'll all get through this with a little grace. Wendy Denny Johnson said in Rockingham County, some kids could not even get on Canvas. Other kids' internet access kept dropping. I don't think our virtual highway is ready for this much traffic all at once. And you know, Wendy makes a good point there. It might have just been the sheer amount of people trying to log on to that NC Ed Cloud that made it glitch today. So we know that there were problems. We also know it's back up and running now, which is good news.
Yeah, I mean, when I saw the tweet and the email that Canvas was down, I said to myself, oh goodness, of course this would happen, you know, just a few hours off the start there. But I will say, though, I was encouraged. I am friends, you know, on Facebook with a lot of parents around the Triad and around the country, and they still tried to do something special for their kids, you know, even though they may not have been going to a classroom for the first day of class, right? Maybe a kindergartner. They still got their kids all dressed up, took a picture with the sign, so at least they'll still have that piece to lead them on throughout the next couple weeks.
Yes, it will certainly be a school year to remember, and we are keeping all of the parents, all of the students, and all of the teachers and educators in our thoughts through all of this. You've got this. We're behind you. 4 to 5, we'll be right back after this.
Well, welcome back to your 4 to 5. Taking a look at your weather situation currently across the Triad. Things are improving to the west and northwest of the Triad, but there is a quick line of storms moving through with a front that we have pushing through the area. So the heaviest rain right now, the line is starting to break up, but the heaviest rain right now moving through Burlington into Mebane right now, but on the backside of Alamance County and into Guilford County, things are improving. Also another area of heavy rain right now moving from Thomasville into Randolph County towards Randleman, but after that, things will start to improve. So basically, basically, if you're on the northwest side of this line of storms, you're all clear. You're going to dry out. The rest of the evening is fine. To the southeast of that line of storms, you still have some rain and storms to go, but things will quiet down pretty soon. This is not going to be a washout evening. You can also tell where temperatures have also taken a hit because of the rain. Upper 60s to near 70 degrees across the area tonight. Pretty clear and actually quite comfortable. Mid 60s for overnight lows. Your Tuesday, warm, less humid, and afternoon highs in the mid 80s. That 7-day forecast, keeping the rain chances low, but it goes back up heading into the second half of the week. 4 to 5, we'll be right back.
Hey guys, mic check 1, 2, 3, 4. I will step in front of the camera.
Hey, ice cold milk and an Oreo cookie, they forever go together.
Are a lot of things. I don't understand why I have to keep going. Can you hear me still?
Welcome back to your 4 to 5. I'm Maddie Gardner here with DeHaitian Moise and Christian Morgan today. Of course, this is an interactive newscast. We are live on our YouTube channel, Facebook, and Twitter, and we want you to chat with us. We'll chat back. It was a glitchy start for North Carolina students on the first day back to class after the NC Ed cloud went down this morning. That portal operates systems for remote learning like Canvas. That system is now back up and running. North Carolina Public Schools provided a statement saying, quote, the vendor provider of the NC Ed cloud service confirmed that the product experienced a degradation in service this morning. The vendor will provide an explanation of the root cause once it has identified the source. We are digging deeper into this glitch, and you can find the latest next on WFMY News 2 at 5.
Now, technical difficulties, of course, never ideal, especially for the start of a new school year like this in the middle of the pandemic. Jalen, monitoring social media comments. What did parents have to say about this?
Well, we had a mixed bag of reviews of the first day and the tech issues that happened today. Our first comment comes from Hargis. They say, as if it was going to go without a hitch on day one, which is a realistic perspective to have. Our next comment comes from Billy. He says, nothing this big ever works perfectly the first day. Next, our comment comes from Jeff. He says, but of course, 2020 wouldn't have it any other way. And I completely agree with you, Jeff. It's been a roller coaster year. Next, we have a comment from Sarah. She says, did anyone try testing this before the first day of school? And I'm sure there was plenty of testing that did take place, but you know how technology works, how it is. It messes up as soon as everybody's looking. And our last comment comes from Tina. She says they are not even close to being ready. So hopefully we can get it figured out. We got things back up and running, and hopefully things can work, go a little bit more smoothly for our students.
Yes. We will all get by with a little bit of grace, right, Jalen? Well, for all of our back to school information, you can head to our website and click on the Back to School tab at the top of the page. We also have that information on the News 2 app. And if you want us to send it to you, we can do that directly to your phone. Just text the word school to 336-379-5775, and we'll link you to all that information. Just remember, this is a number to text, not to call.
Well, a Las Vegas teacher was missing her students, so she picked up an idea from the LA Dodgers. She created cardboard cutouts of her kids to put in her classroom. Dara Swartz teaches 5th grade. She says now when students log on for class via web conference, they can see themselves sitting in the classroom. She says it connects her students to the classroom and creates a unique experience, and she chose the photos that capture the students' real personalities. Daisha, I love this story. I feel like I need a cardboard cutout of you and Eric Chilton in here, so I really feel like I'm getting the 4 to 5 experience.
Well, maybe you need to reach out and call this teacher and figure out how she got it done, because I mean, it's been a while since we've all been together, right? But I think it really is just great, you know, these teachers thinking of these out of the box creative ways to engage their students. And I know if I were to be in this situation as a young child, I mean, that would really put a big smile on my face.
Yeah, I bet some of my teachers would have liked the cardboard cutout version of me better, because I wouldn't have been talking to my neighbor as much in the classroom.
Yeah, you know, your teacher moves you around trying to get you to stop from talking. It doesn't help, though, if you like everyone and you like to talk.
That's why we're in this business now, huh? All right, Christian Morgan, I bet you were chatty in the classroom growing up.
Oh yes, I always got the talks too much on my report card. I know you find that hard to believe. All right, weather-wise, we're tracking a line of storms moving across the area quite quickly, though. In fact, things are improving in Greensboro, Winston-Salem, High Point, and all the way back to the northwest, but still some heavy rain moving through parts of Alamance County near Burlington. Also another area of heavy rain moving into Randolph County across Randleman, but it'll be quick in and out, and then things will dry out as we head through the rest of the evening. You can see things are drying out in Greensboro, and the temperatures took a hit as well with that rain coming through. Only at 69 degrees in Greensboro right now. This front is moving through, and behind that, we're going to get a little bit of a break from the humidity, at least for one day. Or Tuesday is going to be a very pleasant day of weather, with afternoon highs in the mid-80s, staying mainly dry. A little break from the humidity, even though it's one day. We'll take what we can get. Heading into the second half of the week, though, into your Wednesday and Thursday, those rain chances and storm chances go back up, and also the muggy meter starts creeping back up as well. But the rain chances fall off as we head into the weekend.
You know, the state got a letter from the Post Service saying that they were concerned that they would be unable to meet our statutory deadlines and get ballots delivered on time. That's unacceptable. That's why I'm exploring legal options.
All right, so North Carolina Attorney General Josh Stein getting up with other attorneys general to possibly bring some kind of legal action about this.
Very interesting. And all of this is to make sure that the mail-in or the absentee voting can happen on time.
Right. Congress is jumping in on this too. There's been changes made to how the post office delivers mail that could affect the timeline for mail-in voting as well. North Carolina, I want to tell you though, is the first state in the country to mail out absentee ballots, and that all starts September the 4th. Now, don't wait until September the 4th to request your absentee ballot, because here's why. You actually have to fill out a request form before you can even get your ballot. And that could be a 15-minute process. Look at my flow chart. Or it could be a one-day process, or it could be a 2-week process, depending on how you do it. So I'm going to go in depth on this flow chart coming up at 6, and it's all going to make sense, and then you get to choose what you want to do. Hey, from elections to health, we're answering your questions today. Coming up at 5:30, an expert from Cone Health is answering your questions about kids and coronavirus, especially on this first day back to school. Just text us your questions, 336-379-5775.
The WYNDHAM Championship didn't disappoint, although this year was truly one of a kind. No fans were allowed on the course due to coronavirus. And now that the play is in the rear view, WYNDHAM staff, I should say, had a chance to recap the one-of-a-kind experience. And Luke, the main takeaway here is that hopefully this is the first and last time without fans at the event.
Yeah, Tahisha, I was out of the course all week long covering the WYNDHAM Championship, and that's the first thing I noticed, how quiet it was. Hardly any fans cheering, really no foot traffic whatsoever. It almost kind of felt like an exhibition golf match, but of course, when you looked at the leaderboard and saw those ridiculous scores, it was anything but that. But you've got to think how odd it must have been for Jim Herman, this year's winner, without any fans to congratulate him on his third PGA Tour victory. The tournament, though, of course, was still a great watch that came down to the wire. But the main takeaway, like you mentioned, Tahisha, was the lack of fans and excitement on the course, which we're all used to. Tournament director Mark Brazel agrees.
I love that we just crowned a champion, Jim Herman, and I love that we had a shootout and we had a great leaderboard. I love that we had great weather, but I am really happy this one's over. Having no fans out here was absolutely not the way this thing's supposed to be. Now, I am very happy that we were able to get the tournament in. I'm very happy that we were not another canceled event here in North Carolina, but I'm just kind of happy this one's over. I don't want to do this one again like this.
I'll kind of agree with that in a certain sense. I will say, though, for the media, the one positive, if you want to take away from it, was that we didn't have to weave through the thousands of fans to catch some of the action, to shoot some of that video for our highlights. But let's hope it all goes back to normal next year, as the WYNDHAM Championship is surely an event for the community, something that we all look forward to each year.
Something else you can look forward to, a second Panthers Classic game is airing this weekend right here on WFMY News 2. We are your official home of the Carolina Panthers. So next up, you will see the 2003 divisional playoff game at St. Louis. The last Panthers Classic game airs on the 29th, and you can watch the Panthers 2015 Thanksgiving game at Dallas then. All of those games air at 8 o'clock on Saturdays. Once again, you can watch them all right here on WFMY News 2. We'll be right back. Welcome back to your 4 to 5. Airlines want to reassure passengers that it is safe to fly, but survey says it's not working. Instead of growing more comfortable with air travel, more people are becoming skeptical about it. In the United States, airline bookings stalled in the past month after slowly rising. Analysts say this is a reaction to the rise in a new surge of coronavirus cases. Many of the people surveyed said their biggest fear is sitting next to an infected person. The CDC says sitting within 6 feet of other passengers for hours may increase the risk of getting COVID-19, but they note viruses and other germs don't spread easily on flights because of how the air circulates on airplanes.
Now, most of the American airlines here do require people to wear masks while on board, and they say they clean the plane after every flight. But I wanted to know, what would it take for you to feel safe while flying? That's the question I posed to you all on my Facebook page today. Let's get a look at some of the comments. Linda Johnson says, the virus gone. Could be a while, Linda. Jolie says, I've always felt airplanes were big cans of germs to begin with. If it's within, or weren't big cans of germs to begin with, if it's within a 2-day drive, we're taking a road trip. Aries says, I fly frequently. The virus is not going to slow me down. Take precautions and practice social distancing when necessary. Frank Brown says, no way on earth. I am home and happy. Now, I will say, there are some airlines out there that do block off seats, Delta, Southwest, JetBlue, if that's something that you are worried about. The thing that I'm worried about, too, is I've been following up with some of these companies, and they're only blocking out these seats for a certain number of days. So eventually they are going to return to business as normal, Maddie. So I know a lot of people still worried about flying.
And some airlines are already returning to business as usual, Tahisha, and booking every seat on a plane. I mean, it's an inherent risk with flying during a pandemic. And I think as long as you go into it knowing that and understanding that there are some things that they are trying to do to keep people safe, but it's not foolproof and there will be some kind of transmission possible.
Yeah, the only foolproof way to not get coronavirus is to stay inside your house, not leave your doors ever, and not see anyone, which, not realistic for a lot of people and they have things to do. But most of us can avoid getting on a plane if that's something that we don't feel comfortable doing.
Well, as you know, the 4 to 5 is a two-way street here. We don't just talk at you, we want you to talk back. So join our conversation. How do you feel about flying? We're reading your comments on our Facebook page, our YouTube channel, and our Twitter feed. We'll be back.
Hi there, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Hi, hello, mic check, 1, 2, 3.
The wedding industry has been impacted by coronavirus as many postponed their big days. But an Ohio couple had a scaled down version of the day they had in mind and even took some time to give back. Let me explain. The couple said their vows and then they promptly went over to the local women's crisis shelter instead of holding their wedding reception. The newlyweds served food meant for their reception to those staying in the shelter. Now, the CEO of the shelter says it's the first time to his knowledge that someone donated food from their wedding reception to the shelter, so they were greatly appreciative of the gesture. The couple says they changed their wedding plans multiple times this year, but they're happy with the way it turned out.
And weather-wise across the area, continuing to track a line of storms moving slowly across the Triad, but there's not a whole lot of rain with these storms. The heaviest pockets of rain right now setting up in Alamance County from Mebane through Burlington down to Rock Creek, but things will be improving in Burlington and back to the west very soon. Also another pocket of heavy rain moving through Randolph County right over Randleman just north of Asheboro right now. But as we go through the rest of the evening, once this line of showers and storms gets out of here, we'll be quiet, we'll be drier, and also much less humid tonight and heading into your Tuesday. It's actually a pleasant day of weather tomorrow. Temperatures in the mid 80s in the afternoon, much less humid, so that will feel very nice. But then the mugginess starts to go back. Chances do go back up as we head into the second half of your week, and with extra clouds and better chances for rain, that's going to hold our temperatures back into the lower 80s for the second half of the week. As rain chances go down heading into the weekend.
Less muggy tomorrow. Looking forward to that. Well, coming up on WFMY News 2 at 5 o'clock, troubles on the first day of school after the statewide portal used for programs like Canvas went down. Teachers, parents, and students share their frustrations on day one. That's next on WFMY News 2 at 5.
Yes, while most Triad school districts chose remote learning, some school districts welcome students back.
Is it better? Is it better? Yes, no, better?
I'm moving a cable, not glitching.
Huh? It's glitching?
No, I said I'm moving it and it's not glitching.
All right. It's got to be the pigtail. That's the second one.
Yeah, I just took the pigtail off. Mine. I had one of those umbrellas from the old bikes we used to use those to put on it.
The big problem on the first day of school, not bus route confusion or bullying, a tech glitch that kept students and parents from logging on.
Hi there, Alabama, Alaska, Arizona, Arkansas.
It's time for my 2 cents. So I was scrolling on social media this morning when I felt personally attacked. The post was talking about how we say sorry to